The impacts are being felt around the world after a member of China's corporate royalty was arrested by Canadian authorities at the request of the United States. Meng Wanzhou, the chief financial officer of Chinese tech giant Huawei and the daughter of its billionaire founder, was arrested on Saturday while she was changing flights in Vancouver.
I can assure everyone that we are a country of an independent judiciary, and the appropriate authorities took the decisions in this case without any political involvement or interference, as must be the case.
Huawei says the U.S. asked Canada to arrest her because they want to bring her to America to face unspecified charges. Now, publication ban prevents us from saying exactly what charges Meng faces. But earlier this year, the Wall Street Journal reported that Huawei was under investigation by the Justice Department for trying to evade U.S. sanctions on Iran. Now, if the U.S. does find that Huawei violated those sanctions, it could prevent U.S. firms from ever doing business with them. Huawei says it's not aware of any wrongdoings, and it always complies with the law. The shocking arrest, revealed late yesterday, is a massive escalation in the middle of a messy trade war between the world's two biggest economies. Global markets are sharply down on the news, fearing to unravel a 90-day tariff ceasefire between Washington and Beijing, signed on the same day Meng was taken into custody.
Huawei has long been in the sightlines of the U.S. government from an allegation that they use their technology for espionage purposes, something Huawei has denied, but the U.S. has put sanctions on the company.
The Chinese embassy in Ottawa is strongly protesting her arrest, calling it a human rights abuse. While the Chinese government has already called for her release.
So when you've got all of these nations now involved, now including Canada, it raises the issue to another level, and it could, in fact, heighten tensions, not, again, de-escalate the trade risks between the U.S. and China.
The arrest comes as Canada is under mounting pressure from the U.S. and other allies to bar wireless carriers from installing equipment made by the Chinese telecom and 5G networks.
We work with our world-class intelligence agencies and follow the recommendations they make on how we can ensure that Canadians are kept safe.
Huawei has this long-term investment plan in Canada, in Ontario, and for us, and this could jeopardize their, long-term investment here, and that could jeopardize hundreds of jobs.
Canada's cybersecurity agency today wouldn't directly say if there's been any increase in malicious activity directed at Canada or Canadian targets from China in the last 24 hours.
We always are vigilant against any malicious activity. The fact is it is constant. The activity that's coming from around the world, it doesn't matter where it's from, you have to defend against it. The last step you typically do is attribution. And so what we look to is how do you prevent that activity before you have to get to the stage of worrying about attribution.